the newest episode of Vikings in the uncertain hour before the morning, episode 14, the episode that premiered last night, was a very great episode, and there's many reasons why it succeeded as an episode, and there's not much bad to say about it. And so I'm sort of going to go over what happened this episode. So we saw Aslog willingly give up the throne after, she'd had the defeat at Kattegat, and of course the people wanted Lagertha. And we saw this awesome speech between them where basically Lagertha called her out for being a witch. And it seemed as though Lagertha was going to let her go and just leave after that, even if it was in an unceremonious way. But Lagertha had this awesome moment where she shot Aslog in the back, and we were all looking forward to that moment for seasons and seasons. Because Aslog's, honestly, I have not cared about her as a character. She's been a great sort of antagonist for Lagertha these past few seasons. So it was so satisfying to see Lagertha shoot her in the back with an arrow, and it was so fitting to give Aslog that false sense of hope just to shoot her in the back. It was very cool to see. And Ube, of course, at first, and Sigrid were really mad because their mother died. But while Ube was going to seek out revenge, Sigrid basically said, hey, she never loved me, and she gave her love to somebody else. So Ube tried to kill Lagertha in a scene, but got beat down by her shield maidens and held back. But by the end of the episode, I could tell that Ube, as much as he didn't like that his mother was gone, he didn't really have that connection with her that made him want to have more revenge, and I think Sigrid talked him down. It's also important to note that Astrid told both of them that if they ever try to hurt Lagertha, she'd try to kill them. And I'm not sure how I feel about Astrid yet, but she seems like she's going to be a cool character, especially coming down the line. But the real meat of the episode was the whole Ragnar Ecbert talk. And they had this conversation that went on throughout the whole episode where they were just discussing different things. And it was very powerful, there's some very powerful scenes, and probably the most powerful of all those moments was whenever they discussed Athelstan and how Ragnar talked about his demise and how it's on his conscience. And these two men both had these strong relationships with Athelstan, so them discussing his demise was crazy. Of course, Ecbert also acknowledged that he regrets killing all the Viking farmers when he did. He wished he would have done it at a different time. But these two men, you can just tell by the way they talk to each other, they appreciate each other. They respect each other, and they realize that they are both very powerful men, and, they've both done certain things. And so it was cool to see them get drunk together and sort of just have these powerful character moments, and especially for Ragnar before he goes, sort of have a proper send-off. He did meet Athelstan's kid, which was great. And we figured out that his half-son that he had with the queen in the previous season, or at least we thought he did, was a fluke. He didn't actually have another kid. And so that kid sit on his own, basically out of the way. His name was Malchus, I believe. But they also discussed the deal in the end. And this is ultimately going to lead to Ragnar's demise. We've seen people talking about it the whole entire time, but the deal that Ragnar made with Ecbert was, Ivar gets sent home, but you have to send me to King Ela. And King Ela, of course, is going to kill Ragnar. And if you look at the historical record, it's from using a pit of snakes, and Ragnar gets thrown in. But Ragnar says if he does this for him, that he would tell Ivar to tell all of his sons that it wasn't Ecbert's fault that Ragnar died, so they would take out all their anger on King Ela, which of course is a rival to King Ecbert, so everything works out in the end. But King Ecbert really did struggle with the decision. Ragnar said, don't be afraid, just make it. And so we see all the moments leading up to Ragnar's demise, and we see that for the show, really after Ragnar's demise, the show's going to be completely different. I think on the commercial for next week's, it said everything changes, and it really will change once Travis Fimmel's off the show, once Ragnar Lothbrok's dead, and so we'll see that sort of shift. But this episode, I would say the only negative thing is it was a whole lot of setup, and some people don't like whenever episodes are just set up, for me personally, I didn't mind it because the setup was definitely exciting and there's some strong character moments. The Ragnar Ecbert, dynamic was phenomenal, and I think the way Lagertha dealt with Aslog and with Ragnar's kids Ube and Sigrid was phenomenal. So for a final score for this episode, I have to give In the Uncertain Hour Before the Morning, episode 14 of Vikings season 4, an 8.7 out of 10. Remember to comment below what you thought of this episode. Remember to like and subscribe for more. This has been Jonesy from Joneser TV signing off.